Okay folks, welcome back to the Long Dark, video number 6 in the Wintermute playthrough series, and you joined us exactly where we were. I've come upstairs, as you may have noticed from where we left off. I left the end of the last video downstairs. I've come upstairs just so I can sleep for an hour in the bed and save the game. But we are in the same building, and we're going to make our way out and continue our quest to look for firewood, which is what we were doing in the last video. We're looking for firewood for the Grey Mother, who's the first NPC that we've encountered in the game, and we have a mission to fill her firewood box with lots and lots of firewood, and we're struggling a little bit because I kind of thought we just had to find 30 pieces of anything that was firewood, but we don't. It's sort of, we've got to fill it. I'm not quite sure how it's measuring it, but we've got about 9 of the 30 pieces that we need. That is indeed a wolf walking down the middle of the street there, so let's go this way. In fact, let's head back up to her house and see if we can't pop this, what we are carrying firewood we have collected into the firewood box before we go looking for any more. Now, I think we've explored most of the buildings that we're able to explore here in Milton. I think there's a couple that we still haven't, down where that wolf is. We can't explore the Grey Mother's house particularly either. Everything in there is showing as red, which I assume means it's owned, and we can't loot it. In fact, we'll transfer all of it. I'll keep the sticks for me.
Damn it. So hungry.
Don't worry about that. 13.7, so we're nearly halfway there. Let's eat. Let's eat this fish that we're carrying around with us. We picked up a hatchet in the last video as well, so we're looking pretty good for hatchets. We can now chop up firewood. Let's head this way. I'm going to go out a little bit further out of the town now. Start having a look around. I'm going to pick up these reishi mushrooms as well. There's a crate there that we can break down. A couple of them. So let's continue gathering firewood. Pick up the reishi mushrooms because I think we're going to need those as a food source. Got these 2 crates. We are at hypothermia risk now. Oh, Milton School has burnt down. That's a bit unfortunate.
Freezing.
The old schoolhouse, which has burnt down unfortunately, so not very much for us to find here. And that is a pathway out of the town, and I think at the moment we probably don't want to go doing that. These are bits of building out planks. So we've got some coal, excellent.
I'm gonna need to eat soon.
Okay, we'll have some coal. That'll help. Keeping an eye on that hypothermia risk. Let's pick up some sticks. Okay, we need to think about getting back inside, I think, now, warming back up again. Some old man's beard. I did notice some up on that other tree, which I opted not to go out of my way to go and collect right now, but we'll collect these 2 because we're going past them. Let's go and get ourselves inside. Oh, some sticks here, we'll have those. Part of our firewood collection. Okay, now I've got to watch out for that wolf that we know is wandering about. There's some rabbits jumping about around here as well, so we're okay rabbit-wise. In fact, I think what I'm going to do, as we're going past the credit union again. I haven't looked in any of these cars either. I'm going to go back inside the credit union. Oh, there's a letter. Due to global economic realities that are well known to you, we are unfortunately unable to remain in operation. All banking services are hereby suspended until further notice. So they have stopped banking services. Now, when did that happen? Did that happen before this event? This, electromagnetic storm, or did it happen well before that? Who knows? I still haven't got the dates straight in my head. Okay, what I think I'm going to do, because it's nice, it's warm in here, so we're not going to freeze if we stay in here. So we've already really been through this, but I know there's a few things that I didn't collect, so let's just pick up the water. I've got quite a bit of water actually now. Didn't search these lockers either. But what I really want to do, and the reason I've come in here, is crack this safe. I assume that this safe is going to contain the combination to the vault. That's what I'm assuming. I could be wrong, but... Okay, here we go then. Let's see if we can crack this safe. Okay, that was just before 20, so let's spin back to 0. There we go. Back this way. Ooh, it was 49, I think, so if we go back to 0. Takes immense concentration to do this. Oh! Nearly got it on that attempt there. Right, okay, so we're... And it was round up by 30, wasn't it? Oh, I missed it. I thought it was just past 30. Oh well, never mind. Okay, so back to 0 again. Just make sure it's definitely gone past 0. That's 30 on the nail. And we're in. So let's open the safe. And find a stack of papers, a book, some cash. Useful as tinder. And that's it. So it didn't contain the combination to the bank vault.
Can't get in here yet.
So it could well be in the manager's house. And the manager's house is where we've set up our base. Unless we're going to find it somewhere else, of course. Okay, so... Oh, there's a filing cabinet here. Let's have a search through the filing cabinet. I think I was so kind of awestruck by it when I came in that I wasn't paying that much attention to what I was doing. But our hypothermia risk is healed. Oh, I need Prabot's getting that one. Hypothermia risk is healed. We've got some salty crackers in that container. Okay, so I think we have pretty much cleared this one now. Yes, okay, let's eat some food and drink some water. Can we get a bubblegum? Well, that's disappointing. Okay, so let's head back outside then. Conscious that there is a wolf wandering about somewhere, so we just need to be a bit careful of that. One other thing is, I don't know what difficulty level we're on, because obviously we're used to having the different difficulty settings when we're in sandbox mode. We don't really know what difficulty level we're on here. Whether we can configure that, or whether it is just what it is, or what, I really don't know. So it could be interesting. Okay, so... Okay, we've immediately gone back to hypothermia risk again. Okay, we've been in that house, I think, but I think there's a house here that we didn't go in because I was drawn to the one over there. So we didn't go in this one. So let's go inside this one. Let's see what we got. Another one with very little in it, but we've got some cloth, some accelerant. Reclaim wood, which is good for what we need at the moment. There's lots and lots of books around. Lots of books around. Toaster pot, can't do anything about that. Hypothermia risk is healed.
This gear's starting to slow me down.
Yep, I know, we're a bit over encumbered. I'm not going to take scrap metal because we're not in a position to do anything with it at the moment. Oops. And as per usual, we're not finding a great deal in these. There's definitely more of a feeling in Milton that this is a town that was gradually abandoned. Well, I say gradually abandoned, but that was kind of in use for a while after the geomagnetic event. But people then moved out and they've taken a lot of stuff with them, but left a lot of things behind as well. Cupboards are looted. We've already got rid of plenty of sports slots, we don't need any more. Let's take all the water that we need. Water is our most valuable resource, so we don't want to waste any opportunity to get hold of it. Okay, so there's not a lot in here. There is obviously a bed. There is a bed that we can use. And more newsprint for tinder. We'll sort all this out in a second. We're going to go back to our main base camp. Across the street. The bank deposit key, box key number 7. We'll open one of the deposit boxes at the bank. Okay.
Nobody needs this anymore.
That's worth hanging on to, and I've actually got an updated mission for that. Oh, have I? Well, interestingly, I've got the key, and I have the thing telling me the missions were updated, but I haven't actually got an updated mission in there, so don't really know. But I assume we can get in that box now, so we might go and do that in a minute. But what we're going to do first is just go back across to the bank manager's house, which is our base of operations, and we are going to drop off all of our loot. Although I've just noticed another house there that we can go in. And I think that's probably going to be it, you know, because we're actually at the edge of the town. That house is burnt out. That one is burnt out. That one's burnt out. That one's boarded up. That one's boarded up. So this, I think, is the last house that we can actually go in here in Milton. That we haven't been in already. I'm fairly sure we haven't been in it already. And it's not very far away from our base, so let's go in and we'll check it out. I don't think we've been in here. There's not very much in here. We've got some reclaimed wood. Yeah, there isn't a fat lot in here. I know I'm really heavily encumbered, but I haven't got to go very far, so I am going to pick up the water. Any medicines?
You can always use more food.
That's very true. Newsprint. Through the cupboards. Plenty of dog food that we're finding here. So had a lot of dogs in Milton. Last resort sardines. Okay. Well, we are really. Ooh, can I open that? Oh no, probably not. Okay, in the cupboards. That's the last of them. Okay, so we've pretty much looted the whole of this. There is an upstairs area with absolutely nothing in it. We've got a candy bar. We've got some more books. Crates and boxes that we can't break down. We're moving really slowly now. Got a woolen scarf, which I am going to take. Table I can actually break down, so I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to eat some food. It's going to have to be a can of dog food, because that's all I've got. Okay, and then another grape soda. I'll pick that up. We're moving really slowly now because we're really heavily encumbered. We are 50 kilos, so we're 20 kilos over our carrying weight, so we are really slow. But we've only got to go round the corner to our base camp, where we will be leaving a lot of this stuff behind. So let's get outside and go and drop all this stuff off. So the big question that I've got for everybody is, what do you think of the Long Dark Wintermute so far? I'd be really interested to see everybody's feedback. I haven't really read any of the forums, and I haven't really read anybody else's comments. I'm really enjoying it. It's great to be in story mode. It is so far a different style of gameplay. I haven't been setting up quite so religiously my base camps because I am concerned that people are going to come along and loot them. But also concerned that, well, I'm going to end up suddenly moving on to a different area, and I'm going to end up losing everything that I've got stashed. So I haven't really been quite so careful about sorting out my loot. So it's a different style of gameplay, but I am enjoying it. The only thing, as I think I've made pretty aware so far, that I'm slightly disappointed about, the dialogue options that we had with the Grey Mother, it wasn't spoken dialogue, it was text dialogue, and I was a little bit disappointed with that, I'm going to be honest, but it is only a minor thing at the end of the day. It is only a minor thing, so I'm not going to stress about that. Okay, so let's transfer over. I'm going to pop that in there as well, and then I'm going to go into my fridge underneath and see if we can ditch some of the food. Now, this is where I am a little bit anxious about sort of ditching stuff. But let's do it, because obviously we've got carrying weight restrictions, so we can't carry everything. We also have some things that we need to cook and some stuff that's going to be a little bit borderline for us to eat, in complete honesty. So that's sorted through some of our food. I'm starting to get a little bit more comfortable with the idea of leaving things behind now. I don't think anybody's going to come along and loot it, so let's drop that scarf, because I'm quite happy with all the hats I'm wearing, so my clothes are all in that little pile there. It's not necessarily the neatest place to be, this particular one. I've not got things brilliantly well organised. Have we got any tools and things that we can ditch? Right now we probably need to be hanging on to all of that. I've got lots of fire starting material, and an awful lot of it is books, and obviously they weigh a lot. That makes up the bulk. Let's drop some of these matches. We won't be carrying quite so many matches, so let's drop those. I'm also carrying an awful lot of tinder as well. Well, this is going to take a while to break down into tinder plugs. So let's go through and do this. I might not. It's a shame that you can't just say, yep, do it all. You have to keep clicking one by one. But then on the other side of that coin, it's useful because it means we can have these short little accelerated bursts. And we can stop if anything happens. The weather outside has gone very, very bad. We're getting close to sunset now as well. Let's just keep harvesting these, see if we can break them all down to tinder, do our housekeeping jobs. So yeah, I am really interested to see what people think of the Long Dark. I have been enjoying it. I think there's still a heck of a lot for us to do. Obviously the Grey Mother is going to give us some more information, I would think, as soon as we fill her firewood basket, which is what we spent the last couple of videos trying to do. And I think we're probably going to be there now with all the all the reclaimed wood and things that we've got, I think we're probably going to hit that threshold and we're going to have enough to fill it up. So hopefully we can move on with the story a little bit more now. And possibly go on the trail of other NPCs, other survivors. That may well be what we end up doing, but we can still use Milton, I hope, as our base. Okay, so let's break down this newsprint roll.
Never been so hungry in my life.
Don't worry about that. Newsprint roll. So that we can turn it into a massive pile of tinder from everything we've just harvested. We've got 51 tinder plugs, and I've actually got stacks of papers that I can harvest into tinder as well. So this is getting absolutely ridiculous at how much tinder I've got. It's hilarious because tinder, or lack of it, is what's caught me out in the past. With the long dark, tinder is what's caught me out in the past. Not having enough of it and not being able to start fires. But now I've got like 60 tinder plugs. So this housekeeping is going to keep us going for a good while. We're into the darkness now, but we're not actually that tired at the moment. So we shall be sleeping a little bit later in the evening, I think. Blimey, this is probably the most tinder material I've ever had in one go. Massive amount of it. Okay, so I think that's it, isn't it? Yep.
I find something to eat.
We can just use that as tinder on its own. Okay, so we've got 69 tinder plugs. So it is pitch black in here now. So I'm going to have to light myself a match. Let's drop a lot of these tinder plugs right here. I'm going to drop 50 of them and I'll keep the rest. Drop. Okay, so that reduces our weight quite a bit. So I've got 50 tinder plugs stashed here, 19 I'm carrying. I'm carrying all those matches, which is good. I've got 16 sticks, 13 bits of reclaimed, 4 bits of coal, a lot of which is going to wind up going to the Grey Mother. I've got these as well, which I can use as tinder. In fact, I think though I'm going to drop those. 3 bundles of money, and I've got cattail stalks. I'm also carrying a lot of books, so if I just kind of move across a little bit, not that you could see that I've done that, but I have moved across a little bit, and I'm also going to drop
Anything for a drink right now.
probably 10 of these books. Again, just to reduce my carrying weight. So that's giving me a little stockpile of fire starting materials down here. And I think otherwise we're actually doing okay. We're getting back down to our carrying weight now. Let's get another match. Yeah, it's a match I want to light. Thank you. There we go. So we've got a massive stockpile of tin plugs, a massive stockpile of books, which is graphic glitching very slightly there. So let's get ourselves... I did search for all of this, didn't I? Yeah, let's get ourselves into the bed. There's actually some more newsprint there. And another soda, so I obviously didn't search this brilliantly well. Okay, so what we need to... Oops, before we do that, we need to eat and drink. Let's go into our food and have a quick look at what we have. I think I'm gonna risk these peaches. It's a bit borderline, but I'm gonna risk it. Keep your fingers crossed. We're okay, and we're gonna go for the dog food. And we appear to be okay as well, so let's go for the tomato soup. And there we go, so we're okay, and we're going to drink obviously some water. So we've actually done okay there, we've got plenty of food in, so let us sleep. I'm going to go for 6 hours and see if it'll let me sleep for 6 hours. That's going to get our condition all the way back up. Our condition's now looking pretty good. It did drop really quite low at one point, but we've managed to get it sorted out again now, so we're okay. Let's just drink. a little bit more, and then we shall sleep for a little bit longer. Let's see if we can do another 4. Is it going to let us do it? It probably won't let us do another 4 hours, but we'll try. And we shall wake up fully rested. Okay, well we're heading towards daybreak, I think. I can see a little bit more on the clock. We're starting to head towards daybreak. So if I just sleep, well, if I pass time for another hour, there we go, that's done the trick. There we are, let's get rid of those. Okay, so we're actually looking in reasonable shape at the moment. I've got quite a lot of stuff stashed. I'm going to use this cupboard here to store small things which get lost very easily. So I'm going to be storing, well, we may as well store the spare water purification tablets in there, and we have got some small crafting items such as the feathers, and we've got some cloth. Now I'm going to keep some cloth with me, but I am going to drop a fair chunk of it. Reishi mushrooms I'm going to keep hold of because we're going to need to cook those up, I think. We're going to need to do a fire ourselves fairly soon. Cook stuffs. But we're actually in pretty good shape, and assuming of course that this doesn't get looted and that nothing comes along and steals it all, we're actually starting to build up our normal base camp, our normal supply store here. And I assume if the story does take us away from Milton, we can come back quite easily. Okay, so let's go and take the firewood that we've got across to the Grey Mother. I think I may also just need to have another go round the bank manager's house, see if we can find that bank vault code, because we've clearly missed it somewhere. It could be in that safe deposit box. In fact, I might go in there on the way past it, actually, go and have a look, as we have a key. As we have a key to now get in there. There's a rabbit hopping about over there. Milton seems to be relatively safe. There is a wolf wandering about, but it seems to be fairly safe. Safety deposit. Where were they? I don't know where they were. Yeah, where were they? Are they in the back? It did say bank, didn't it? This is where we are. There were a load of safety deposit boxes, but I thought they were in the post office, you know. Not the bank. Did I just assume bank there? No, it says bank. Oh, unless it's in the... Oh, it's in the vault. Those deposit boxes must be in the vault. So we need to get in the vault before we can open that deposit box. So we need to find the combination to get into that vault. So the code must be somewhere, we just got to find it. Okay, well we won't worry too much about that right now. The code is probably, I think, going to be at the bank manager's house, which I haven't really searched properly, so we will go and do that once we've done this. So I'm hoping that we've now got enough firewood for the Grey Mother. I've actually also just realised we're coming up to time, I think. I haven't really been watching my clock that's brilliantly. Hopefully we can get through. We've got enough firewood here and we can move on to the next dialogue option. I'm hoping anyway. Let's transfer all of that. Transfer most of that. I'm not going to transfer all of it. So I want to keep some of it in case I need to start a fire. And we'll transfer the coal. So what do we have? 26.6. We're still a little bit short. Oh, okay. Right. So we need a little bit more firewood. Some more reclaimed wood is what we need. Let's go back to the bank manager's house then. Simply because I want to... I'm sure there's some stuff around there that we can break down to get firewood, but I'm also wanting to see if we can find this bank vault code. And to me, that's the most logical place that we're going to find it. Solar panels on... Is that solar panels on the roof of that there? Sort of burnt out house. We've got the cars which I haven't really explored. Let's go into the bank manager's house then. Let's have a quick loot around because I obviously haven't looked properly. I think I pretty much did this room because I was looking for food. I did that. Unless it's not here, and of course, then I am barking up the wrong tree. Thin wool sweater. Some sports socks. Nothing. Okay, we can sort our clothing load out in a minute. Then we've got another book. There is the bank vault code. We found it. 1938. Spot on. So it was right there under our noses the whole time. Okay, so let's ditch some of the bits of spare stuff that we just picked up, but we'll sort out our clothing before we do that so that we can make sure we've got the best stuff. So warm cargo pants, decent cargo pants are obviously going to give us a bonus, and I assume actually Will's trousers are not as good as those, so I'm actually going to put those on. Sock wise, warm wool, ragged sports, yeah. Will's shirt is the better option by the looks of things. So, okay, I think we are pretty much sorted with that. So let's drop the clothing that we're not wearing, so we're not carrying around loads of stuff we don't need. Drop, drop, drop. And we're going to drop the original trousers. Okay, so we've got ourselves quite a nice little collection there. There's just our stones and stuff that we dropped, and we are actually, oh, matches, let's pop these, I forgot that we dropped those, let's pop these up on the table so we don't lose them. There we go. Okay, so we're actually doing alright then. We've now got the bank vault code. We're very nearly there with what we need for the grey mother, the firewood. So we are going to, I think in the next video, we'll try and find that last bit of firewood. We'll go into the bank vault, see if we can get into that safety deposit box. See what we find in there, because I think that's going to be very interesting. And then hopefully we can go and talk to the grey mother, and we'll be able to move forward with the game into the next mission. But right now, I am going to say thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you again very, very soon.